What's up everyone, it's your girl Brain Shanae, and today I'm coming through with the Black Author Readathon recommendations. So please, stay tuned. And I'm back. So like I said, I want to be sharing with you some book recommendations for the Black Author Readathon. Now I'm going to let you know, I didn't really get a lot of recommendations for all of the prompts that's on the bingo board, but pretty much all these books that I'll be sharing with you today, you have a potential of pretty much getting a bingo or even getting a blackout of the entire bingo board, to be honest with you, because these books are pretty much capture every single prompt that's on this bingo board. So you can't miss it. I believe that you'll be able to get, like I said, a bingo or black out the entire bingo board. Now, before I even hop into the recommendations, I'm going to at least post up the bingo board right here for you, just so if you didn't get to see the Black Author Readathon announcement videos that we have posted, I believe, last week. So I wanted to share with you guys the bingo board again with all the prompts that you could potentially get a bingo or block out the entire bingo board. So let's go ahead and get right to it, into the books that I recommend for this Black Author Readathon. So the first book that I want to bring up and I recommend is All the Things We Never Knew. That is by Liara Tamani. And this is more like a young adult romance book, in my opinion, and it goes into the category of sports romance, as you can see on the cover. I love the cover, and I want to go into what it is about. So I have the synopsis where it pretty much breaks down what it is about so far. So it says, from the moment Carly and Rex first locked eyes on a Texas high school basketball court, they both knew it was destiny. But can you truly love someone else if you don't love yourself? Acclaimed author Liara Tamani's luminous second novel explores love, family, heartbreak, betrayal, and the power of healing in gorgeous prose that will appeal to readers of Nicola, Yoon, and Jacqueline Winston. A glance was all it took. That kind of connection, the immediate and raw understanding of another person, just doesn't come along very often. And as rising stars on their Texas high schools' respective basketball teams, destined for bright futures in college and beyond, it seems like a match made in heaven. But Carly and Rex have secrets, as do their families. Liara Tamani, the author of the acclaimed Calling My Name, follows two Black teenagers as they discover how first love, heartbreak, betrayal, and family can shape you, for better or for worse. A novel full of pain, joy, healing, and hope for fans of Elizabeth Acevedo, Jacqueline Winston, and Jenny Han. So this is a book that I definitely recommend for sports romance. There's pretty much that. And also, if this author is new to you, that also goes into the prompt for a Black author or a new Black author that you haven't read. So that coincides with that as well. So that is my sports romance recommendation. Now, this next book is definitely popular, especially in the booktube community and the romance community as well. And this can fall into enemies to lovers prompts. It can also be an interracial romance. It can be realistic contemporary. So all those prompts fall into this book alone. And that is Get a Life, Chloe Brown by Talia Hibbert. Yes, I believe it's probably one of amongst a lot of the favorites books that I see around BookTube that's always being talked about. But let's go ahead and let me read the description for you, so you have a better understanding if you haven't read the book. And also, if this author is new to you, this also fits the new Black author prompt as well. And this says, Chloe Brown is a chronically ill computer geek with a goal, a plan, and a list. After almost but not quite dying, she comes up with 7 directives to help her get a life, and she's already completed the first, finally moving out of her glamorous family's mansion. The next items: enjoy a drunken night out, ride a motorcycle, go camping, have meaningless but thoroughly enjoyable sex, travel the world with nothing but hand luggage, and do something bad. But it's not easy being bad, even when you've written step-by-step guidelines on how to do it correctly. What Chloe needs is a teacher, and she knows just the man for the job. Red Morgan is a handyman with tattoos, a motorcycle, and more sex appeal than 10,000 Hollywood heartthrobs. He's also an artist who paints at night and hides his work in the light of day, which Chloe knows because she spies on him occasionally. just the teeniest, tiniest bit. But when she enlists Red in her mission to rebel, she learns things about him that no spy session could teach her. Like why he clearly resents Chloe's wealth background, and why he never shows his art to anyone, and what really lies beneath his rough exterior. So yes, like I said, this goes into a lot of things as far as enemies to lovers, prompts, realistic contemporary, what have you, interracial romance. So there's a lot of prompts that you can pretty much cross out off of the bingo board with this book alone. So we have that as one of my recommendations for enemies to lovers prompt. Now the next book that I'm sure will not come as a surprise, I'm pretty much going to stick with the same author, of course, Talia Hibbert, and that is Take a Hint, Dani Brown. Now this can fall into the fake dating prompt, but also interracial romance, and also even a sports romance that you can cross that off of the prompt as well. So let me go ahead and read the synopsis and the book description for this book. So it says, Talia Hibbert returns with another charming romantic comedy about a young woman who agrees to fake date her friend after a video of him rescuing her from their office building goes viral. Danica Brown knows what she wants: professional success, academic renown, and an occasional role in the hay to relieve all that career-driven tension. But romance? Been there, done that. Burned the t-shirt. Romantic partners, whatever their gender, are a distraction at best and a drain at worst. So Dani asks the universe for the perfect friend with benefits. Someone who knows the score and knows their way around the bedroom. When brooding security guard Zafir Anarsi rescues Dani from a workplace fire drill gone wrong, it's an obvious sign. PhD student Dani and ex-rugby player Zaf are destined to sleep together. But before she can explain that fact, a video of the heroic rescue goes viral. Now half the internet is shipping #DrRugby, and Zaf is begging Dani to play along. Turns out his sports charity for kids could really use the publicity. Lying to help children? Who on earth could refuse? Dani's plan is simple. Fake a relationship in public, seduce Zaf behind the scenes. The trouble is, Grumpy Zaf's secretly a hopeless romantic, and he's determined to corrupt Dani's stone-cold realism. Before long, he's tackling her fears into the dirt, but the former sports star has issues of his own, and the walls around his heart are as thick as his thighs. Suddenly, the easy lay Dani dreamed of is more complex than her thesis. Has her wish backfired? Is her focus being tested, or is the universe just waiting for her to take a hint? Now, also, this could be, like I said, fake dating. It could be also, friends to lovers type of thing, so that could also play in effect, because they do become friends. Also, you could also cross off the workplace romance as well on the bingo board, because they are friends and they do work together, or at least they work in the same building and what have you. So it's a workplace romance as well. So yeah, I might as well have brought that up because Talia Hibbert has some great books that I highly recommend, especially these last two that I recommended to you for the Black Author Readathon. Now we're going to step into YA for a moment, young adult romance. So I want to bring along this romance that I really enjoyed reading, at least two of them from this author that I'm pretty much going to be sharing with you all today. So this one that I'll be sharing with you is like a single parent romance. It could be also friends to lovers romance, and everything like that. And it also could be a new to you author, Black author as well. And that is Everything, once again by Nicola Yoon. So yeah, Nicola Yoon, she's a great author, and I love her writing. I love the style of her writing. It's just awesome. But anyway, Everything is a cute YA book that I just loved, and I have read a few times actually, and it's even a movie. So for this one, let me read the description for Everything. So it says, my disease is as rare as it is famous. It's a form of a severe combined immunodeficiency, but basically I'm allergic to the world. I don't leave my house. I have not left my house in 15 years. The only people I ever see are my mom and my nurse, Carla. But then one day a moving truck arrives. New next door neighbors. I look out the window and I see him. He's tall, lean, and wearing all black. Black t-shirt, black jeans, black sneakers, and a black knit cap that covers his hair completely. He catches me looking and stares at me. I stare right back. His name is Ollie. I want to learn everything about him, and I do. I learn that he is funny and fierce. I learn that his eyes are Atlantic Ocean blue, and that his vice is stealing silverware. I learned that when I talk to him, my whole world opens up and I feel myself starting to change, starting to want things, to want out of my bubble, to want everything the world has to offer. Maybe we can't predict the future, but we can predict some things. For example, I'm certainly going to fall in love with Ali. It's almost certainly going to be a disaster. So I think this is like a cute recommendation. This could be a new Black author to you, friends to lovers. It's also, she's also she has a single parent mom, so she's a single parent, so I think that falls into play as well, pretty much. So yeah, so I thought that would be like a cute recommendation for the Black Author Readathon, but like I said, falls into the single parent prompt, also interracial romance. There's a lot of prompts that you can cross out on the bingo board. I cannot explain that to you enough. Literally, you can read 2 books and you probably could cross off the entire bingo board if you wanted to, or even get a bingo. But I just wanted to keep bringing that up because you can do that. That's also something that, you can do. You don't constantly have to read multiple books if you don't want to. But yeah, just to let you know about that. The next book that can also be part of friends to lovers, interracial relationships, or what have you, and also a Black new author, and that is The Sun Is Also a Star by the one and only Nicola Yoon. This is also a very cute YA young adult romance that I just had to bring up. I love the movie too, but it's just cute. I just love it. So let me read the description for you about this book. Natasha. I'm a girl who believes in science and facts. No fate, not destiny. Or not fate, not destiny. Or dreams that will never come true. I'm definitely not the kind of girl who meets a cute boy on a crowded New York City street and falls in love with him. Not when my family is 12 hours away from being deported to Jamaica. Falling in love with him won't be my story. Daniel. I've always been the good son, the good student, living up to my parents' high expectations. Never the poet or the dreamer. But when I see her, I forget about all that. Something about Natasha makes me think that fate has something much more extraordinary in store for both of us. The universe, every moment in our lives has brought us to this single moment. A million futures lie before us. Which one will come true? And now that I think about it, like all these books that so far that I have brought up to you that also can go into play with the suspense romance. I feel like a lot of these it's very suspenseful, and I think they just have you wondering what happens next, what's the ending, everything like that. So you can also cross that off the bingo board. But yeah, so this is another recommendation. Another recommendation that can be also for like workplace romance, that is going to be The Boyfriend Project by Farah Rashan. I actually read this book last year and I really enjoyed it, and it was just very cute. And so for this book, it says Samaya Brooks never thought she would be that girl, but a live tweet of a horrific date just revealed the painful truth. She's been catfished by a 3-timing jerk of a boyfriend. Suddenly, Samaya, along with his 2 other girlfriends, London and Taylor, have gone viral online. Now the 3 new besties are making a pact to spend the next 6 months investing in themselves. No men, no dating, and no worrying about their relationship status. For once, Samaya is putting herself first, and that includes finally developing the app she's always dreamed of creating, which is the exact moment she meets the deliciously sexy, honey-eyed Daniel Collins at work. What are the chances? When it comes to love, there's no such thing as a coincidence. But is Daniel really boyfriend material, or is he maybe just a little too good to be true? So I think this is a great recommendation. Like I said, there's a lot of things that you could cross out on the bingo board, but I love this book so much and I highly recommend this one as well. Now this next book, it can fall into historical romance and so many other prompts on the bingo board, and that is A Duke, The Lady, and A Baby, and that is by Vanessa Riley. And so let me read the description for this book. When a headstrong West Indian heiress, Patience Jordan, questioned her English husband's mysterious suicide, she lost everything: her newborn son, Lionel, her fortune, and her freedom. Falsely imprisoned, she risked her life to be near her child until the widow's Grace gets her hired as her own son's nanny. But working for his unsuspected new guardian, Buzzard Trosford, Duke of Ruppington, has perils of its own. Especially when Patience discovers his military strictness belies an ex-rake of unswerving honor and unexpected passion. A wounded military hero, Bozic is determined to resolve his dead cousin's dangerous financial dealings for Lionel's sake. But his investigation is a minor skirmish compared to dealing with the forthright, courageous, and alluring Patience. Somehow she's breaking his rules and sweeping past his defenses. Soon, between formidable enemies and obstacles, they form a fragile trust. But will it be enough to save the future they long to dare together? Vanessa Riley at her finest, Sarah McLean, New York Times bestselling author, I was delighted. Readers on the lookout for Black or disabled characters in historical romance will not want to miss this. So it sounds really cute. It's, enemies to lovers for sure. That can also fit into the prompt for the bingo board, new to you author, what have you, and also an historical romance. So this is also another book that I think would be great for the readathon. Now, this next one that I recommend, I believe it's only on audiobook, but maybe it's not, but I think I only see it on Audible. And this is definitely a novella for sure. And that is The AI Who Loved Me by Alyssa Cole. And let me read what this book is about, or the audiobook is about. Says, okay, so since it's the audiobook, the lengthening is 5 hours and 18 minutes long. But it's a captivating romantic comedy with a thrilling sci-fi twist by award-winning author Alyssa Cole. Trinity Jordan leads a quiet, normal life, working from home for The Hive, a multifunctional government research center, and recovering from the incident that sent her into a tailspin. But the life she's trying to rebuild is plagued by mishaps when Li Wei, her neighbor's super sexy and super strange nephew, moves in and turns things upside down. Li Wei's behavior is downright odd, and the attraction building between them is even more so. When an emergency pulls his aunt away from the apartment complex, Trinity decides to keep an eye on him and slowly discovers that nothing is what it seems. For one thing, Li Wei isn't just the hot guy next door, he's the hot AI next door. In fact, he's so advanced that he blurs the line between man and machine. It's up to Trinity to help him achieve his objective of learning to be human, but danger is mounting as they figure out whether he's compatible with the most illogical human behavior of all, falling in love. So I thought this would be a great novella. I think it also could fall, I know it's sci-fi, but it's like a fantasy pretty much in the type of way. So because he's human and machine. So I think that could also go into the prompts of the fantasy. Interracial romance, new to you author if you haven't read anything by Alyssa Cole. So I thought this would be a very cute novella. I think it is only just audiobook, but who doesn't love a good audiobook? And literally it's only 5 hours and 18 minutes long, so that's not bad at all. Of course, it's a novella, so novellas are very, very short. So this is a novella that I recommend. Now, this next book, it can fall into pretty much any category. I just put this in the realistic contemporary prompt that we have on the bingo board, but it also can fall into interracial romance and what have you. And that is Ties That Tether, and that is by Jane Ikeharo. I think that's how you pronounce her last name. Sorry if I didn't and I butchered it. But yeah, the cover is beautiful. Let me just say that right now. But anyways, let me read the description for you. So it says, when a Nigerian woman falls for a man she knows will break her mother's heart, she must choose between love and her family. At 12 years old, Azeri promised her dying father she would marry a Nigerian man and preserve her culture even after immigrating to Canada. Her mother has been vigilant about helping, forcing her to stay well within the Nigerian dating pool ever since. But when another match made by mom goes wrong, Azeri ends up at a bar, enjoying the company and later sharing the bed of Rafael Castellano, a man who is tall, handsome, and white. When their one-night stand unexpectedly evolves into something serious, Azari is caught between her growing feelings for Raphael and the compulsive need to please her mother, who will never accept a relationship that threatens to dilute Azuri's Nigerian heritage. Azuri can help wondering if loving Raphael makes her any less of a Nigerian. Can she be with him without compromising her identity? The answer will either cause Azari to be audacious and fight for her happiness, or continue as the compliant daughter. So I think this is also another one that is very complex. It's definitely like a realistic contemporary book for sure. Interracial romance. There's a lot of, like I said, a lot of prompts that you can cross out on the bingo board with this book. So yeah, this is another book that I recommend. And last but not least, I want to bring this book up as well because I recently read it and I love it so much, and I just had to put this in my video and have it as a recommendation for a book that you could read for the readathon, and that is Happily Ever Afters by Elise Bryant. I love this book so much, and it goes into the prompts that you can cross up on the bingo board, where it's friends to lovers for sure. It can friends to lovers, a group friend that you can cross out as well. I think it's friends or group friends, friends to group romance as well, because it's pretty much like that in the book itself. Interracial romance, it's contemporary, you know, contemporary romance, what have you, realistic contemporary. So yeah, so a lot of things that you can do with this book as far as the bingo board goes. So let me read the description for this book. So it says, Jane the Virgin meets To All the Boys I've Loved Before in this charming debut romantic comedy filled with black girl magic. Now, just to let you know, this book did come out earlier this month. So yeah, so it's, like I said, it's a debut book. And it says, and it's perfect for fans of Mary H.K. Choi and Nicola Yoon, with crossover appeal for readers of Jasmine Guillory and Talia Hibbert romances. 16-year-old Tessa Johnson has never felt like the protagonist in her own life. She's rarely seen herself reflected in the pages of the romance novels she loves. The only place she's a true leading lady is in her own writing, and the swoony love stories she shares only with Caroline, her best friend and #1 devoted reader. When Tessa is accepted into the creative writing program of a prestigious art school, she's excited to finally let her stories shine. But when she goes to her first workshop, the words are just gone. Fortunately, Caroline has a solution. Tessa just needs to find some inspiration in a real-life love story of her own. And she's ready with a list of romance novel-inspired steps to a happily ever after. Nico, the brooding artist who looks like he walked out of one of Tessa's stories, is cast as the perfect Prince Charming. But as Tessa checks off each item off of Caroline's list, she gets further and further away from herself. She risks losing everything she cares about, including the surprising bond she develops with sweet Sam, who lives across the street. She's well on her way to having her own real-life love story, but is it the one she wants after all? So yeah, so this is, like I said, this is the last book I'm gonna recommend, but I love this book and I definitely recommend you reading it. But altogether, these books are amazing that I have recommended for the Black Readathon. I will also put the bingo board up one more time so you can see all the prompts and everything regarding the readathon. But I hope you all have a great day. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. Also, hit that subscribe button and that bell to be notified when I upload more videos in the future. See ya!